Hi there, this is Tony and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the UNEB 2025 ICT paper that was done at O-level UCE. So stay with me till the end as you learn. Now, this is the paper that was done. Sorry, I don't have the front page. I'll probably put it on the other side of the screen. And then let me open the support files. I have the support files folder here that was provided. So we shall be using it for reference. Okay. Now, this paper had two items, item 1 and 2. So I'll probably start with item 1, and then in some other video, I'll deal with item 2. Now, item 1 says that Eve started a children's home in Uganda where she helps disadvantaged children. She operated for some time, but due to increasing expenditures which she could no longer meet, she applied to a charity organization for help. Unfortunately, her request was granted and she was asked to make a budget following guidelines given by the charity organization as shown below. The medical fund for each child per term, according to age, 4 to 8 years is 200,000, and 9 to 13 years is 100,000, and above 13 is 75,000. School fees for each child per term is 500,000 and 750,000 for primary and secondary respectively. The budget should clearly indicate the total amount spent on each child per term and overall amount if expected per year. The organization has scheduled a meeting for all institutions it helps, and if is expected to make a presentation of the activities done by the children at home, available facilities, future plans, and the budget. It has details of the children's home and the data to be included in the budget in the children's file folder. However, she lacks ICT skills, and the task is help Eve prepare all that she needs to present in the meeting, and then to provide a soft copy on the CD or DVD and a sample hard copy of what you have done to help Eve, clearly indicating your name and personal number as the developer of each of those copies. So after reading this question, you have to first do first things first. So what are we going to do? We are going to open the support files folder as instructed by the question here, that the details of the children's home and the data to be included in the budget are in the children's file folder. So this is the folder, and when you open the folder, let me increase this. When you open the folder, there are 5 images. Let me open the images, and these images, let me first try to zoom in, of children playing. We have children presenting a dance, I think, to a community. Of children in a class, maybe they are trying to raise up their hands. We have is that a residential area? I don't know. And then we have the last one. This is a child trying, maybe putting a ball on top of their head or over their head. So I think those are the images that we have. And then we have a Word file. So we shall go ahead and open this Word file to see what is inside, because before you decide on what program to use, you have to first study your support files. So inside this, we have a table. And how do we know that this is a table? You look at this sign. This is a move icon that we use, or button that we use to uh, it is called the control, the move control that we use to move this table anywhere we want. So it is only found on tables. So just because our table doesn't have visible borders and outlines, so we know that this is a table. So we are going, after seeing a table, you know in your mind that you're going to use a program, Microsoft Access or Excel. So what will I do? I will choose the nearest program, but we can also use Access to accomplish the same thing. So let me use Excel, and in some other video I will show you how to do this in Access, but let us use Excel for now. For this, we shall copy this table. You come to this icon and right click and then copy. And then you come and open Excel, Microsoft Excel. Do we have it here? You search Excel. This is the program. And we are going to paste this information. You start with a blank workbook and then come on the first cell, A1, you paste there. And this is our information. So let us do some little bit of adjustment. You come onto this border here as your icon changes between this A and B. You double click. So you make sure that each and every heading and data is fitting automatically into those given cells. So our data is here. Let me try to increase this. So this is the data I have in Excel. So let me go back to the question. Let me put Excel here and the question this side. So the question says, we are going to start with medical fund for each child per term according to age is 4 to 8 years is 200,000 shillings. So for this we can go ahead and try to calculate this using the if function, HLOOKUP or VLOOKUP. But for now, I will prefer using the if function for this video, and then in the next videos, I'll use the HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. So I will go ahead and put the title, which is Medical Fund, Medical Fund, and I'm going to calculate the medical fund for each child. So I will go ahead and calculate the medical fund for each child, which is using the if function. I will say equals if so since we are testing out for C2, we are going to start with the C2, then we shall autocomplete later. So since this row is C2, we are going to test out for the C2 and see what it will bring for us. So if C2 is less than, I prefer using less than sign because it is consistent, less than or equal to 8. If C2 is less than or equal to 8, and then this person shall be getting medical fund of 200,000. You can even put this sign. Let me just ignore that. Okay. And then we'll go to the next one. If C2 is less than or equal to 13, that means This person will be getting that. And the last one, since it is the last part of the information we have for this matter of medical fund, we are going to just put a comma and then type that 75,000. We don't need to use the if again. And then close the number of times we have opened these brackets, that is 2 times. I'll use that and that. So we are done with this. You press enter, and then your autocomplete come here and then double click, and that's it. Then we shall go ahead. So this is medical fund calculated, and then we shall go ahead and calculate for, let me try to zoom in. Then we shall go ahead and calculate for school fees for each child per term is 500,000 and 750,000 for primary and secondary school respectively. For this, we can still use the if function, HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, but let us stick to the if. And in some video, I'm going to deal with these numbers using the H and V lookup. So let me try to expand this because it is what we need more. We have so let me try to expand this, okay, so let me try to expand this so that we can be able to see everything that we are doing. Okay, this is enough. Let me expand it. So we are going to calculate school fees, which is our next part here in the question. They tell us that school fees for each child per term is 500,000 and 750,000 for primary and secondary school respectively. And then, according to our data that we have here, each child is having a class they belong to. But this class is identified by the class level, which is primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to senior level, senior 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. But how do we organize this data and group it into two? We want to group this data into primary and secondary and use a formula to assign different school fees to each child depending on their class. And the way we are going to identify these classes, we are going to use what we call word cards. For example, anyone who belongs to secondary will have a word senior on their class, and anyone belonging to primary will have a word primary on their class. So by using the if function, let me type school fees. This is in capital letters. So you come here and start the if function. So we are going to use word cards. So we shall say if equals if, and open the bracket. So we shall tell our program that if anything on the left, wait, left, if anything on the left of which cell of E2, if any text or any content on the left of E2 and that character or that thing has a number of 7 characters, is primary. What should we do? Assign a figure 500,000, and if it is not true, assign 750,000 and then close the bracket. The reason why I'm closing once is because this bracket I opened here was already closed here. So I opened once, so I have to close once. So press the enter button or key, and then it will be assigned to that. So by using word cards, you can save time, and this is how our information has been calculated. I think you see how true it is. Trying to create another column of senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, senior 4. That will be wastage of time. So computers are meant to make work easy, not to make it harder. So make sure you implement the rules of a computer, which are making work to be easy or easier. So this is the easiest way of doing it. The other ones are complicated and they don't show that computers are really necessary. Okay, let us go to another part. And this was, okay, we have the budget should clearly indicate the total amount spent on each child per term and the overall amount if expects per year. So the budget should indicate the total amount spent on each child per term. So how are we going to implement the total amount? We are going to add this with this. So we shall be using a formula sum and function of sum, where we shall say open the bracket and we are going to add this with that, close the bracket and press the enter button. So if school fees per term is this, and then the medical fund is this amount, and the total amount is this per term, then the per year, that means we have to calculate the amount if expects per year, and this should be included also here. So we have to say annual, that means per year. We can say annual or total amount, anything like that. And then we shall come here and sum all these. So we create a function here, shall say sum equals sum, open the brackets, and then add all these. And then after we close the brackets here and then press the enter button, and this is the amount, though it has been rounded off like that, but this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, let me try to reduce on the size of these columns. So this is it, the amount. So it is around 30 millions and 250,000. So that is the total amount. So let us go on to some. So when you deal with numbers in Microsoft Excel, make sure you don't leave anything unorganized. So let us try to organize our information. You have to highlight our data. Let me try to zoom out so that we can see very well. After zooming out here, wait, I've spelled something. Okay, you have to highlight all your data and then try to apply borders because they are very important. So you come here under home and then apply the borders. So we come to all borders, and then you can try to merge this section to make it more clean. So you have to merge the cells, and maybe even this you can merge it. Come under merge and center and then merge cells. So that is a little bit more clean than the way it was. So you have to also come here and insert a title for this information. Let us insert, come to insert, and then we can insert a title. We have to first type it here. Use organization, use organization maybe. To get a suitable title, you have to read through your question and know what it is asking for. So for that, you have to come up with a suitable title after reading. So let's first merge and center. That is our title, and let us bold it. Here we have to come up with what else? Let us try to come up with some kind of formatting. This formatting is okay. What else do we need here? We can try to color some important titles. For example, this one, I can color its background by giving it some kind of grayish, and here I can give it some color. Where I've made these calculations, I can give them also give them some gray, the backgrounds, to make them stand out. And then the total, I can make it also stand out by giving it a more, give it black background. And then the text, I'll give it white to make it stand out. I can even make it bold to make it stand out more. And then the last part here is also important. I can make it from this cell to that, I can make it gray. So that's how our table is or looks like. So after formatting our information like this, we head on to wait, I'd forgotten applying borders here also. So after finishing this, we need to go on to the next part. And one of the last things you should do here is making sure that your work fits at least on the page and setting up your printing orientation. And the most before you set up your printing orientation, you have to make sure that you study the nature of your work. So uh, my table or my information is so more on the height and width of this worksheet. So I will have to use the portrait orientation here, the portrait. But if it is more to the right or to the left, you have to use the landscape orientation. And make sure you check on the print areas so that they tell you where your the printer is going to print each and every page. So this is 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4, and more. So yeah, I have resized my work to fit on 1 page. So if I press print, you see every part of my work is going to be included there. What I've left out are the headers and footers. So I will show you how we include them, and they are very important because our question tells us to include our name and personal number as the developer. So make sure that each of your work or your pages has that. So you come to page layout, under page setup, you click on this icon, and then you shall be able to see header and footer. So you can include, the question says, we have to include the name and personal number, provide a soft copy, CD or DVD, sample hard copy, or what you have done to help if, clearly indicating your name and personal number as the developer. So each copy has to be having a header and footer. So we can include a header as the name. So we'll come here to name, to this header, and then include that. We are going to come even on the footer here, or you can come to custom header or custom footer to be specific on what you want. So I will come here and say I want it in the center, that the name is Lutamabuzi, and then say okay, and then come to custom footer, my number, let us assume that is my number, you something. So you have to include the random number and your personal number there. So if that, according to what they have told you, and then say okay, you can come to the print preview and see how it will be like. As you see, my name is there and my random number is there, okay, and my personal number. So I've made sure I've fitted my work on the single page. So this is also nice. So let me go back and try to save. So wait, okay, my changes are there. So let me save my work. On the desktop, I'll go to more options and then browse, and then come to this and then give it and save it as your name and personal number. That is the best way. As a developer, and maybe if you have a random number or something, or personal number, you include everything here like that, and then go to the desktop where you want to save it. Where you save your work, it should probably be your folder. So I have a lot of content here. Let me try to clean it up. Okay. So when you open your folder on the desktop, your work will be there under item 1. The work is here. Tony, remove this one. It is here. So everything you are going to be doing, you have to place it under item 1, a subfolder of your main folder. So this last part, we shall go ahead and open our presentation program and set it up the way this last part tells us. The question says, the organization has scheduled a meeting for all the institutions it helps, and if is expected to make a presentation of the activities done by the children at home. So that means we are going to have a presentation, and in that presentation we are going to have a slide that is going to be having the activities done by the children at home. We are going to have available facilities, feature plans, and then the budget. Now this is important. It is important to plan to plan before making your presentation, what you are going to do for this. Remember, we are going to include the budget, but remember, we have done this budget in our program Excel, and that means we shall be extracting some data from there and then putting it in our presentation, and then doing many other things that are required in this same question. And we are going to include our images the way we have been told that we have some images in our folder that we are going to include here in our presentation. And let us open the presentation program and our folder to see such images and how we are going to do this presentation. So I'll go ahead and open Microsoft PowerPoint, and then I'll also open the children's file folder here, and then we have some images here, though we have already used this file already, and that means we don't have to use it again, though we are going to get some information we calculated earlier to include it in the budget. And before we go into all that, we are going to first deal with all this. So let us first go to the Microsoft PowerPoint and then create a new presentation, a blank presentation. So I'll click on that and we shall have a presentation here. So we are going to decide the title and the subtitle for our presentation on the main slide. So what we have to do is to go back to the item 1 and get the context. You understand? You get the context of this presentation. What are you going to present about? The organization for all the has scheduled a meeting for all the organizations it helps, and if it's expected to make a presentation of the activities done by the children's home. So, and the budget. So this is my title. So this is a children's home. That means it is run by Eve. So the presentation is all about the activities done at, I think I can use capital letters, the activities done at Eve Children's Home So this is the context of our presentation. So this is presented by So you have to include your name as the presenter and your number. Maybe let me include my number. Then you have to go to the next to the next slide. So to the next slide, you insert a new slide, and you can insert a title and content. So under this slide, you can have an introduction, but it's better you do what you feel like. It's not compulsory. If you feel like you cannot include an introduction to this presentation and your creativity stops somewhere, it's better to leave it out. So I can have an introduction. Every presentation has an introduction. So how will we get the context of this introduction? You have to go back to the scenario and read it thoroughly so that you know what you're gonna include. So the main objective of this meeting is this presentation is to show activities done by the children at home, the available facilities, the future plans, and the budget. But before that, we have what happened before in this kind of scenario. So this is what we are going to use and read so that we can be able to carry all of that and then introduce our presentation. And let me sort that out. So after reading all of this, you find out that this is the main concern of the presentation. So we shall extract this and then formulate our introduction. So I can copy this. Let me just copy. Okay, so this is what we need, and we can include it in our introduction here. So you have to type that. So this introduction, this presentation aims at showing the activities done by children at if children is home, and okay, we already have that to show the activities. Okay, we already have that. So I will go to our next slide. So we are going to start with our first slide, which is going to show the activities done by children at home. Activities done by children at home. And here we are going to have the activities. So we are going to first go back to our folder and look for any picture that shows any activity going on. From here, let me view them from here. So we have this one. Okay, children, they are playing here. Okay, I think they are trying to dance or present something. We have here, they are in a class. Okay, I think we have some of those images. So we are going to use some of those images to present that. So we have here this one, this one, and this one. So we shall copy those images, copy, and paste them here. Since we are going to have one slide talking about the activities done by the children at home. Remember, we still have the available facilities, the future plans, and the budget. So we don't need to waste more time on this. So we have the activities done by the children at home. You can organize them in some kind of hierarchy. Let me put this here, okay, and put the image there. So with my images set, I want to include the text for the image, the activities done by the children at home. So I'm going to use a text box, come to insert, and then go to that text box option, and then place a text box there. So I want to include the activity for the text for the first activity, which is maybe these children are in a class that is learning and studying, maybe. Then hold control, bring your cursor here until when that move cursor appears, and then hold control and then drag that down here, and then release the mouse button, left mouse button, and then have to edit this. These learners, these children are playing, maybe they are dancing, I don't know. This is, let me just call it music, dance, and drama, MDD. So I'm going to include another activity here. So I'll go through the same kind of activity. And then these ones are just playing. Then I'm going to do something different. I'm going to include the shape outlines of those text boxes. Come to the shape outline and then choose the outline you want to show on that text box. Choose the weight either, and also come to this and then choose the color of the outline, and then come and choose the weight again, that is 3pt, and also come back to this and choose the weight. And okay, I come to this and then I can choose, maybe let me leave that. But if you are fast enough and you have time, make sure that your presentations look well. So you have, in order to do this, you have to make sure that you're just fast. Okay, so I'm going to include another arrow here to point to this MDD, to its activity, that one. And okay, place that there and also include that there. So let me put this in straight line, in a straight line. Okay, I tried. So let me leave that there. I'll come back and edit, and we're going to include another slide for the available facilities. I think I can use this. So I'm going to include available facilities here, and they are related text there. So I'll come up and include the title here. Available facilities. So according to the images that we have here, let me browse them. According to the images here, we have maybe a play zone or playing area, I don't know, where these children are playing from. And we have a house, I can call it a dormitory. We have a class, though that one is not constructed, so I may not include that there. We may have a dormitory here. I don't know how I should call it. What about this one? we have a tent. Okay, so we have a tent. So I can call this, I can copy these images that communicate what I want to pass on. Let me see. Where's that dormitory? Okay, this one, I can use this. I will simply copy and paste them inside our presentation here, and then organize them. So I may have this one to be the first. Okay, let me use this one. This one can be larger. Select this one, bring it to the front, bring forward. Okay, and this one, you can just juxtapose them so that they look nice. So let me first organize them inside our presentation here. Okay, shall organize them later, but we can first have this kind of setting. And available facilities, we have that there. Okay, and we can have our text again. So you come back, you can organize this text the way you want. It's not always like you're supposed to organize them the same way I'm doing. So this one is okay, we have an area where students play from. Click that there. We'll keep that there. So you're going to copy this and paste it here. We can keep our information more organized, and then include a tent, and then we shall come and also include that here where we have maybe a dormitory. Okay, so we can include our arrows, but this is a disclaimer. You can design this this presentation the way you want, so it's not always like you're supposed to use my approach. So as long as the information they want is there, and as long as you have implemented what you've learned in Microsoft PowerPoint, that will be the best thing ever. So come and include another arrow here. So this is my presentation, and you can apply the same effects we applied earlier, which is the shape outline. So by default, that outline is not there. So you just activate it. In Microsoft Office 2007, the text box comes with an outline. So it is you who decides whether you remove that outline or leave it there. So I include this. Okay. I'll do that and also include that. So that is okay. I can also include, so that I don't want these images to stack up on each other, so I can give them some kind of outlines. So come to this one, I can leave it the way it is, and this one I can come and give it blue, and then come and increase on the weight. I can give it 3 or 4, something like that, and this one you can leave it like that. So this one, okay, it depends. So I'm done with the available facilities, and then I will go on to the next part, which is including the let me read again. Available facilities, the future plans. So you come and include that here, which is the next slide. So you come here and say future so you come and say we hope to include the following at so you come and include these developments. For example, the future plans, enter. So you come with the future plan 1, which is, you include the bullet, expand, oh my god, expand dormitory, construct more classes, for different age groups. So a child of 12 years shouldn't study with a child of 2 years. So I think these are some of the future plans. Maybe if you're thinking of other plans, like maybe construct a borehole, you have to be creative enough in Microsoft when making presentations. You have to know what you're supposed to include there, what is more good, what is better. So you have to put an each and everything that is necessary there. So future plans. Now the budget. We come to page number 6, slide number 6 here, number 6, and include the budget. And now this is the turning point for most of these things, because when you come to the budget, you have to present the budget that you made. Good, you made it in Microsoft Word, but you have to present it here. And remember, we had a very long table that could fit on A4, and this, remember, this one is in a landscape. So let me first import the table here. So I will come to my folder where I did my work and open it, this one, and then come to item 1. It's where I have my Excel file. So I'll double click on it, And after double clicking on it, my table is gonna be loaded. So if my table is loaded, I'm going to copy all this information because this is what the budget is all about, and then include it there. So after highlighting, you come and paste in your presentation, and that will be your table. Now, the observation that we have about this table is that it does not fit in our slide. So what are we going to do is that we can't just pull the handles to fit the width, because that won't appear very well. For example, if I try to pull on the width to increase on the size of the width, it won't appear well because I have to fit even the height of this table. And when I try to fit it there like this, it won't even fit there. So what are we going to do is that we are going to change the orientation of our slide to portrait in order to fit this table there. So what shall we do then? Let me press Ctrl Z so that I revert the, okay, let me revert the size. Okay, so this is our table. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to change the orientation of our slides to portrait so that it will fit, everything will fit. So this is our presentation currently, and it shows different content, but then I've got to change the orientation so that each and everything fits there, and most especially this table. So if you try to see the slide show the way it is gonna appear, it is cut off. This is how it's gonna be, but it's not full. So I'm going to change the orientation. Let me press escape and go to design. You go to slide size here, and if you're using another version of Microsoft Office, you'll always see different things there, different settings and different features, but most of these features can be understood and can be tracked. So I'm using the latest Microsoft Office, but those using 2007, you'll always see similar features there, or named in a different way. So when you come to this dialog box, this is where you are going to enter to click that radio button, the slides. So you want the orientation on slides to be portrait. And then what about the handouts? Remember, this will help you when you're printing. So you want them to also be portrait. And then you press OK. So they will ask you that you're scaling the new slide size. Would you like to maximize the size of your content or scale it down to ensure that it will fit? Yes, I want it to fit. So I'll come and press on this button, and then everything will fit there, even my table. So I will come back and redesign my table to ensure that everything fits. Let me come here, and then this is my presentation, and this is how it appears. So I'm going to reorganize my content so that it fits. So I'll come back to the introduction. The presentation aims at showing activities done by the children at home, available facilities, the future plans, and the budget. So this is my presentation. However, this one is not in capital letters. So let me see whether I can put it in capital letters. Yes. This is how. Okay, this is okay. Let me go to another slide. You have to make sure that your presentation is organized even after ensuring that everything fits there. So remember, after ensuring that everything fits there, everything got disorganized. So you have to reorganize each and everything. Let me try to zoom in a little bit so that we can see whatever's going on. So this is our another slide of ours. These ones got disorganized, so I have to organize them during the change of orientation. Remember, when you change orientation, the content you've had will also change and get disorganized. So make sure that you reorganize your content after the major update. Let me put this here and then reattach the handles. Okay, so this is the presentation that we have, and this is how this slide will appear. So come to the next slide and also organize content there. So the content here is we have images. Okay, and this one here. So during the presentation, these features, this text and features to be visible to those who are watching the presentation. Let me also increase the font size here. I think 20 is good. Okay, so this is another slide. So we'll go to this one. This one is okay, the feature plans, and then we have the budget. The budget is a little bit too squeezed, so increase on the size of this table, maybe to fit the whole page, depends on your plan. And according to what we see here is that the text size or the font size is very small, so you have to select all the contents of the table and then press this grow. It's called grow font, so that you can watch when your text is increasing in size, and to make sure that the size is that is enough or required. Okay, let me increase the size of, let me bird this out and maybe increase its size to stand out. So this is the annual budget. So we can try to reduce on this a little bit so that the 0 can fit there. Okay, that is some kind of 30 millions, something like that. So we can see that this text had gone out of the slide, and when it goes out of the slide, it won't appear, the budget. So you can bring it here and then change it to uppercase, maybe make it bold if required. So this is our slide. So on the last slide, you can put the conclusion, and then maybe if required, because since we have a table, we may be required to put a graph there. So then to create that graph, we are going to use data from this table. But according to what we see here, according to what we have here is that we are going to, let me get back to our question here. So according to our question is that the organization has scheduled a meeting for all institutions it helps, and if it's expected to make a presentation of the activities done by children at home. So you have the future plans and the budget. So what is in the budget? We have the total expenditure here. What we have the total expenditure and all this amount of money that is gonna be spent on each and every child. So according to our graph and our information, this is what we are going to present to the graph on the graph. So in order to create this graph, you have to be careful on the type of graph or chart that you are going to use. So what are we going to do here? We are going to create a new graph here by coming to slide and then coming to home, then new slide, then come and insert a blank slide. So this one will be the one we are going to use, or you may even use another type of slide here. So you can change the type of slide by coming back here and then changing to title and content. It depends on what you're aiming at. So by coming here, you give it a title. Okay, a graph showing total expenditure on each child. So you come and okay, so then come to the chart option here, or just come to insert, then select the object you want to insert, which will be a chart. So according to our data, I'm going to select a bar graph, and I'm going to choose this one because it will align with what I want to insert, because I have a lot of data to insert into this slide. So I have decided to use this type of bar graph. So you click on OK to insert that here, and this is gonna be our chart. But when this chart loads, it loads with Microsoft Excel here, Excel charts or sheets. So these are the ones that we are gonna use to insert our data. And how are we going to do that? Let us use the table. So you have to load the table and highlight the data you want to put into your chart on slide number 6 there. So you come and put that there. So you come and select your data here. So you highlight the whole of this cell, make sure that it is highlighted from the total, so you can zoom out to see each and everything, and then highlight, don't include the total, to Kaitesi, and then copy, Ctrl C, then come on the very first cell here and then paste. So when you paste, the original data is also taken away. So you have to make sure that from Muima, who is here, to Kaitesi or Kaitesi is included there. So you come to this side, you are going to include the total amount spent on each child. So we can move this away to this side. Have to first prioritize copying the data. Let me put it there. So you have to copy here. You highlight all that content and press Ctrl C. So you come to the very first cell here, paste. and we have our data there. But remember, we have to map our data where it starts and stops. So you move this blue icon or feature that is going to map our data where it starts and stops. If you don't move it, you'll confuse your chart. So what is this information about? You come and edit it here, that this is expenditure per child. So you can write that only, and then we leave everything, because if you move this blue feature, it won't include anything here. So on other programs, Microsoft Word 2007 or 10, it is black in color. Mine is, what is this color? It is green, I think. So on other programs, you may find it blue. So after doing that, you will see that, okay, we close that. You will see that from Wambuzi to Kaitesi, though these are not the only students, so you have to make sure that you pull this table so that other data appears. If you see that something is missing, you have to make sure that the Muima to Kaitesi, all of them appear here. And then you have to include the title, which will be, so this will be chart or bar graph. Let me type chart. Okay. Let me not specify. So what we have here is the total expenditure, and on the side we don't have a chart title there, so we have to edit our data, and there you'll come to format, and then so we are going to click on the chart tools or chart design. Under chart design, we have chart element or quick layout. So quick layout will help you to include each and every element very fast. But if you want to know each and every element that you need, you come to chart design. So both of these features can achieve the same thing. This one is faster, a shortcut, and this one will help you to include the specific element that you want. So we had, for me, what I want is the axis titles, and under the axis titles, I want the primary vertical. So when I include that there, it will pop up here, and this is what I will edit. So what do we have on this side? We have the names of, we have the children. You can include that there. These are just children. If you are more specific, you can put children names. So let us increase here the size of the chart to fit our slide. So that's another part that we have here. So from that, we come to the conclusion, which is slide number 7. So let me first increase the size of these access titles. And on appearance, let us first see how our slide will look like. So this is how our slide will look like on the projector when being presented. And let me start from the beginning before we go ahead with the conclusion. I think it looks beautiful. Okay, everything looks good. Yeah, everything looks good. I've seen a mistake here. These were not increased, so you have to increase on the size of each and everything, because remember when we changed the orientation, everything had changed in size and some elements shrinked. So we have to make sure that we correct that. Let me give it 20. Let me give it 20. Let me give this one 20. And since everything changed, we have to change to edit our information. We have MDD, so this information changed. Children are playing. This is MDD. Here they are studying. what do we have here? So okay, so this one changed. It was supposed to be here, and the tens are supposed to be here. Maybe available facilities, and then we have the dormitory. I have to point that there and then include that there. Okay, then let us go ahead and give the conclusion. We come to insert a new slide, and then you can come with a title and content. So it has gone in a wrong place, so you can shift it to where you want it to be, and then come to the conclusion. Then come and include that there, the conclusion. So we're gonna type. So we come in and type that in order to run if children is so this is comma. So we have the available facilities at the children's home should be improved. Should improved. Should be improved. So you also add on that. If you can also add on information concerning the expenditure in your conclusion. So in a conclusion, you talk about whatever you've talked about here, not whatever, but the most important things. So you can also include the budget. So this is our conclusion, and this is our presentation. So if you are finalizing the presentation, you have to include the header and the footer, then include the designs and animation. So you come here and then set that up. So let us start with the designs, the backgrounds. So you can select a faster background to achieve that faster. Let me choose this. Okay, I will choose this. Let me look for a better one. Will this look nice? Yes, it will look nice. Let me see. Okay, this one will look nice, though it will distract our charts. So so I can remove the background on this. Let me format the background on this slide. Format background on this slide, then add a solid fill there. So these are themes that I've applied, and each and every slide has a theme that has been applied on it. So you come and then include the header and then the footer on your slides. So the header will always be the name, and then the footer can be your number or the date running. It depends on anything. So let's do that very fast. Okay. Make sure everything is in its right size before you close up. Wait, we don't have a title slide. I don't know how it got lost. Let me include that there. The title slide is supposed to be here. Children is so here we have the presenter, and you may include your number there. Okay. So the presenter, okay. So that is the title slide, and then each and every other slide that follows. So I've included the background. So what I'm going to go to are the transitions, and the animations. So you can come to this and then go to the transitions. Maybe how this slide is gonna come out, and then animations. You click on each and every element. I may include that flying, and then okay, let me see how it will appear. Okay, so that's how it will appear. So you don't have to think a lot. Okay, so I may highlight all of these and then apply one animation. This one can be, there are many, so you can choose, most especially the entrance, those that belong to entrance. So this should be the first. So let me, so this should have come in later. Okay. So you also go to the other ones and include animations there. This text is too small. Okay. So the future plans have to include that there, and then come to the animations. This we include the table as to flying or floating. It depends on how you define that. Okay. Okay. Then the conclusion, let us try to increase on its size so that it does not appear faded. Okay, then apply an animation conclusion first. So remember, transitions affect the, and lastly, you'll go ahead and include the header and footer. So you'll come under insert, then come to header and footer, then include the footer here where you put your number 052, maybe, depends on your number that you use. Then come to notes and handout, then include the header, which will be your name, Lutamakuzetoni, then apply to all. So the footer will appear on your slides, your individual slides, but the header will appear during your printing. So when you come to print, let us assume we are going to print, and we are going to print our slides. So you will see under okay. So you come under a full page slides. So you have to make sure that under handouts, you are going to select all the slides that you have, the range where your slides fall. According to my presentation, I have 1 to 8 slides, so I have to select these because this is where my slides fall. And if you have used a very harsh background or something like a very harsh a very dark background, you have to select the color maybe to grayscale so that each and every part of your presentation appears. I think you see. Let me reduce this to around 6, maybe 4, so that I print more pages. So I think my presentations now, my slides now appear. So I can have a print. That means I'm going to print around 2 pages. 2 pages, that means here 4, and then on the next page there will be 4. So at least this is my work. So if you have not used a very dark background, you can take a presentation back to color, and then the printer will decide what to do with your colors. But if you have used a very dark color, you can select any of these options that will help you out. So this is the end of our work. So you'll go ahead and then print, and I think you can see here the header has my name, and then the footer has my index number, so, or my number, so my personal number. So make sure that you print in handout mode, and make sure you don't print all on one page. So you can print all if you want, if you have made a very small presentation, but if you have made a very big presentation of around more than 8 slides or 9, make sure that you divide that number so that you print some on one side and some on the other side. So what we want to see is the handout mode being used. So thank you for staying with me up to this time. See you in the next video.